You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what He actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, and welcome to the first week of 2022. How's it going so far for everybody? Yesterday, January 2nd, we had the new moon in Capricorn. Today, the moon is making 3 different conjunctions. So there's a lot of emotional intensity right now. There's a lot going on. We're feeling all the things. And I'm going to walk you through what that energy is bringing, how to best navigate it. We'll also go through where the new moon is activating your chart, this Capricorn new moon. So if there's any intensity coming up for you, you can navigate it more easily. Or if you're just looking for some guidance to set goals in the new year, to maybe find your word of the year, something like that, stay tuned for your new moon horoscope. And that might give you a little insight. But I want to start this live stream, actually how we started the last live stream of 2021, and that is with some sage. I just really feel like we might need some cleansing. So wherever you're watching from, just take a moment, take a breath, allow this sage to cleanse you, to cleanse any negativity, and to wipe the slate clean for the new year. I'm also going to sage the deck I'll be pulling from today. It's a new year. It's always a good idea to start off with clean slate, fresh energy, clear any negativity. I certainly needed that today. Yeah, virtual sage. Yes, Heather. So yeah, if you needed the sage, that was for you. So let's start talking about the energy of the Capricorn new moon. The moon is still in Capricorn for the next 2 hours or so this Monday, but we'll be feeling the energy of the new moon, that energy it's bringing over the course of the next month and the next year. A lot of us are setting goals for the new year under this Capricorn new moon, and you know, that can bring some motivation. It's always nice, though, to see where the new moon is landing in your chart, get some guidance on what area of your life is going to be the most affected by this. And this new moon happened at 12 degrees in Capricorn. So about a day ago, we'll back up. And it happened so this is how you know it's a new moon. When the moon and the sun hit the same spot on the astrology chart, that's a new moon, because the moon or the sun is directly behind the moon. That's why we don't see any light on the moon. That's why it looks dark. So this happened yesterday about 10 a.m. Pacific time, so you can do the math wherever you live. And now that the new moon has passed, we can still use the next day or so to set those intentions, especially now that the moon is waxing, inviting us to start preparing, start thinking about what actions we're going to take. If you missed yesterday's new moon, you can still set intentions or do your rituals today. So here is the new moon. It happened at 12 degrees. And if you have a copy of your astrology chart or you've had a reading done, pay attention to where 12 degrees Capricorn is in your chart. Again, I'll tell you your new moon horoscope and what that means, but You know, astrology charts, usually it's not like your house starts at 0 degrees and ends at 30 degrees of a sign. There's often signs overlapping with houses, if that makes sense. So pay attention to exactly what house 12 degrees Capricorn falls in for you. And I say that because, speaking personally, Capricorn rules my 5th house, so that's the house of creativity and fun, and I was definitely feeling that creative spark yesterday, but it also overlaps into my 4th house, specifically at 12 degrees Capricorn. And I'm just speaking from personal experience here. So the 4th house is the house of the mother, the house of childhood, and I'm not an actual mother yet, but I do have dogs, and definitely having a first mom moment with one of my dogs. He got sick and ended up going to the ER having emergency surgery last night. So that definitely plays into the chaos and the drama I'm feeling today, and that many of us are feeling today. But it was interesting that that new moon activated that mother part of my chart, and I definitely was feeling that mom energy of worrying about my little baby. So pay attention to where 12 degrees Capricorn is in your chart. But when we have a new moon, this marks a new beginning, a new chapter, perfect energy to start a new year. And the new moon in Capricorn specifically puts the focus on our foundation for the year ahead. Capricorn is the builder of the zodiac. It likes to have that sturdy foundation, make sure you have a solid footing, get grounded so you can build step by step throughout the year. The Capricorn is the goat too, so you can think about the goat needs to have solid footing to keep climbing up the mountain, but it happens one step at a time, right? So it's all about that solid footing. Capricorn also rules long-term plans, so we'll certainly be more aware of our long-term goals and plans with this new moon in Capricorn. And so many people were vision boarding or setting intentions yesterday and today under the new moon for the year ahead. Very perfect energy when we're talking about Capricorn, those long-term plans. And even just journaling, talking about your goals can be a really powerful way to set intentions. Capricorn energy is very practical too, so having practical rituals to set those intentions can be really helpful, even if that's just writing them down, like I said, or talking to somebody else. It doesn't have to be a full spiritual experience under a Capricorn moon unless you want it to be, and then it totally can be. But you know, just the basic goal setting can really be a powerful ritual under a Capricorn moon. Now, yesterday we had the moon meet up with Uranus in the morning, really helping us easily step into change. This was a harmonious angle between the moon and Uranus. And so Uranus is the change maker. It's the rebel. It can help us envision and look to the future. Definitely helping us set those intentions, set those long-term goals. By late last night Pacific time, so early this morning in other time zones, the moon formed a supportive angle to Neptune as well. So these were really positive connections on Sunday into Monday with this Capricorn new moon. When the moon got support from Neptune, it could help us use our imagination a little bit, dream a little bit bigger. You might have had more vivid dreams under a Capricorn new moon sextile Neptune. So yesterday was really that energy. Sunday was really that energy of envisioning the future, setting those goals, looking ahead to long-term plans, getting excited about the new year. Today, we have a different story. So Monday, the Monday after this new moon, we're still in a Capricorn moon, but we're seeing 3 separate conjunctions with that moon. A conjunction to Venus, a conjunction to Pluto, and a conjunction to Mercury once the moon moves into Aquarius, because Mercury moved into Aquarius over the weekend. So that's a lot of intense emotions. Our emotions are being infused into a lot of areas of our life with these 3 conjunctions. I'm going to go over what each conjunction means, what time it's happening, how to navigate it best, or just reflect on what came up for you. But first, let's go through each sign really quickly, and we'll talk about what energy this new moon is specifically bringing for you. So We'll start with Capricorn because this is a Capricorn new moon. If you are a Capricorn, this new moon is activating your first house, the house of self, the house of physical appearance, the house of purpose. So this new year is your new year. We're in Capricorn season. This looks like a renewal of yourself. Maybe you have ambitious goals for your appearance in the new year. Maybe you're setting goals for your purpose or how you want to show up in the world. Today is really a good day, or this new moon is really a good time to envision who you want to be by the end of 2022. What does 2022 version of you, Capricorn, look like by the end of the year? And also refer to your rising sign if you know it. If not, your sun sign will work just fine, but your rising sign does give you a more accurate depiction of what area of your chart this new moon is activating. So what do you want to look like by the end of the year, by the end of 2022? Set that vision for yourself, journal about it, write about it. That's your assignment, your task, your practical task, Capricorn, for this new moon. If you are a Sagittarius, this Capricorn new moon is activating your second house, specifically if you're a Sagittarius rising. And if you're a Sag, you already love to dream big. You already love to manifest your wealth. You are drawn to success very likely already, but for this new moon landing in your second house, this is all about the physical money, physical property. What do you want your physical surroundings to look like by the end of the year? How much money do you want to make? Do you want to call in by the end of the year? Those are questions to ask yourself under this new moon. Scorpio and Scorpio rising, this Capricorn new moon activates your third house, your house of communication, of learning, of speaking. So this is the perfect time to write or talk about what you want to call in this new year. Using words will be the most powerful way to set your intentions and to manifest for the year ahead. What do you want to learn this year? What information do you want to know by the end of 2022? How do you want to use your voice differently in 2022? Think of those things as you're journaling, writing, or even just speaking your intentions to someone else today. Libra, this Capricorn new moon and Libra rising, this is landing in your fourth house. So this is your house of home and family, your foundation, those roots that we plant. We often think of this as the house of childhood, the house of the mother. So think about your physical home, because this Capricorn new moon is like that very practical interpretation of astrology. So what do you want your home to look like by the end of 2022, Libra and Libra rising? What does it feel like? What does it look like? Who lives there? Who lives in your home by the end of 2022? So really think about your home and family and set intentions around those areas under this Capricorn new moon. My Virgos and Virgo risings. This new moon in Capricorn is activating our fifth house of the inner child, of play, of joy, of creativity. Super fun. So creativity is actually the perfect way for you to manifest or set intentions under this new moon, Virgos. Make that vision board, or better yet, lean even further into your creativity. Sing, dance, do something that brings you joy today while you are setting those intentions. That will make them more powerful. And also for you, this new moon is all about getting in that fun, playful energy that will help you attract what you want in 2022. So, you know, a lot of manifestation or setting intentions, whatever works for you, is about getting into the energy that you want to be in for the rest of 2022. So playing, having fun, being creative. A vision board would be perfect for you, Virgo. I created mine under the new moon, and it was a really great way to find some clarity and figure out what I want my intentions to look like But you know, as Virgos, sometimes I tend to like make a list or be really serious about my intentions. And I ended up making a vision board by just clipping out of a magazine. And that was way more creative and less serious. So I would recommend doing something that involves play, discovery, all those things, but just have fun regardless. This is your time to have fun, Virgo. I know that can be hard for us. All right, moving on to Leos and Leo risings. This new moon lands in your sixth house, the house of health, wellness, and routines, also the house of service. And the key to the sixth house is that you have to take care of yourself in order to serve others. So I know you, Leo. I know that you love to be a hype man or a hype woman. You love to support your friends, but make sure you are supporting yourself first. This is really a time to set goals and intentions around your health, your wellness, your fitness, either mentally, physically, whatever that looks like in your life. And a great way to manifest or set intentions for you, Leo, is to envision what your daily routine, your ideal daily routine will look like in order to meet those physical or health goals. The sixth house is all about routine, and so when you're manifesting or setting intentions, even like writing out your routine, organizing your routine can help you envision practically what each day will look like. Sometimes we set these intentions, we set these goals, and we're like, I'm going to be a millionaire by the end of the year, or whatever it looks like, you know. But for you, with this new moon falling in your sixth house, Leo and Leo risings, this is really the time to get organized and think about the step-by-step process it's going to take to reach those grand fitness, health, wellness goals. And also, this is a good time to think about how you want to serve others in the new year. How do you want to be more helpful? What do you want to give to others in the new year? Cancers and Cancer risings. This new moon is landing in your seventh house. So this looks like new year, new relationship, or a new lease on your love life. This is the house of partnership. So this will bring fresh energy into your love life. If you're single, if you're looking for someone, this is a really great opportunity to set intentions about what kind of partner you want to call in. You might have heard of this practice before, but making a list of the qualities you want your ideal partner to have, that is a form of manifestation. And I've never done it personally, but I know several people that it's really worked for. Maybe they didn't find the exact person with all the qualities, but they found someone with a majority on that list. So if you are single and looking for a partnership of some sort or love in 2022, write that list, envision who that ideal person is. How do they affect your life? This could also be a good time if you're trying to call in a business partnership. Do the same thing. Envision what that partnership looks like, what it feels like. Now, if you are already in a couple, you're a couple to Cancer, this is really a great time to set goals surrounding your relationship. How do you want your love life, your relationship to grow and evolve over 2022, over the next year? Maybe this is a time to set intentions with your partner. Do, a ritual together about what kind of energy you want to call in the new year. But this is all about love and bringing fresh energy into your relationships, partnerships, and your love life. Geminis and Gemini risings. You might be thinking about maybe signing a new contract, making a new investment, paying taxes. Some sort of energetic bond is going to play out for you as this new moon lands in your 8th house of energy exchange. So really, the assignment for you under this Capricorn new moon is to observe your own energy. If there is a situation you've been contemplating, trying to figure out if you should, go all the way in or retreat, observe your own energy when you are manifesting the ideal outcome. right? Pay attention to how it feels in your body. This house is traditionally ruled by Scorpio, the deepest, darkest sign. So really pay attention to the emotions going on internally for you, Gemini. If you feel any resistance to what you're trying to call in, this house is all about your energy. So really focus on the energy you want to be in 2022. And if while you're manifesting, doing your rituals, thinking about it, you're feeling resistance toward whatever it is you actually want, really pay attention to where that's coming from. Or if you feel like you're still energetically tied to the past year, which I think a lot of us are, and we'll also go over how today's transits are really playing into that. But specifically, if you're a Gemini, doing some sort of cord cutting meditation, releasing any energy that's not serving you anymore in 2022 will be a really powerful way to step into the new year with that clean slate the Capricorn New Moon is offering us. But yeah, also Gemini, the 8th house rules sex. So if that's a goal for you, in 2022, which I know it is for a lot of people, set some intentions around that. Again, pay attention to your own emotions, your own energy when you're thinking about those things, especially when it comes to intimacy or sex with a partner or with another human being in general. Sometimes our own energy is what blocks us from making those deep connections. So Gemini, really pay attention to your energy under this new moon. Taurus. This new moon activates your 9th house. What a great house for this to fall in if you're a Taurus rising, because it's the house of expansion, exploration, long-term travel. And with this new moon in Capricorn, the sign of long-term goals, this is a great time to book that trip, enroll in that course that you've been dreaming about. Set intentions about how you want to expand and grow in 2022. How are you going to broaden your horizons this year? What destinations do you want to add pins on that map to by the end of 2022? This new moon is really going to help you, Taurus and Taurus risings, dream big. There aren't any dreams too big under this new moon for you. You are also a very practical sign, Taurus and Taurus risings, and the Capricorn New Moon is very practical, but this landing in your 9th house allows you to just release those worries or doubts or fears that might be coming up with the moon in Capricorn. Capricorn energy can make us worry. It's the limiter. It can be a little bit more negative, and Taurus, you kind of tend to be that way as well. But dream big, expand your horizons in the new year. That's your assignment. Aries and Aries rising, it's time to get down to business under this new moon. This moon lands in your 10th house, the house of career and long-term goals. So you, Aries and Aries rising, are feeling that Capricorn energy for sure. This is the time to aim high when you're setting goals about your wealth, about your career, about that promotion you want to get in the new year. Again, aim high with these goals. But also, Aries and Aries risings tend to be a little bit more impulsive and like to move really quickly, and they want that instant gratification. The Capricorn energy helps slow you down a little bit. So it can kind of set the pace, right? Slow and steady wins the race. That's very much the Capricorn energy coming in and reminding you, Aries, not to race towards the finish line. It's only January 3rd. We've got a whole year to accomplish our goals. So this new moon can give you more patience while still allowing you to aim high and set those goals when it comes to your work and your career and the wealth that you are building in 2022. Last couple signs, Pisces and Pisces rising. This new moon in Capricorn lands in your 11th house. This is all about the who. Who are you going to surround yourself with in 2022? What community do you want to build? What causes are important to you in the new year? That's what the 11th house is all about. So this invites you to think about humanity, the collective, the state of the world, and how you want to connect with others. Technology is your friend in the 11th house. So if you are really passionate about a cause and you want to do something with that in the new year, maybe start an Instagram account about it, or connect with other people on social media who are interested in those same things. Or if this is just something you want to learn more about, follow accounts that are already talking about these causes that are really important to you. If this is a time you are looking, Pisces and Pisces risings, to cultivate a community for yourself, technology can be a great asset for that as well. Or this could be a time to look into events in your own community that you can go to safely and connect with other people. This is all about connection. At the same time, the 11th house is what makes us unique, what makes us eccentric, what makes us an individual. So recognize, Pisces and Pisces risings, that it's those qualities that make you different that will actually connect you with your people, right? If you feel like you're a little quirky or different in some way, or there's something you like that maybe other people aren't necessarily into, find your people in the new year. Find those people you can talk to about cryptocurrency and NFTs, or, you know, whatever game you got for Christmas that you're now obsessed with, or climate change, or recycling, or whatever it is for you that makes you a little different or weird, Pisces and Pisces risings. Those are your people. Call in new connections in those areas of your life in 2022. And then the last sign we'll go through, Aquarius and Aquarius risings. This new moon is activating your 12th house, the house of healing, the house of endings, and the house of spirituality. So if you are an Aquarius or an Aquarius rising, it might still kind of feel like the end of the year for you. You know, your season is coming up in just a couple weeks, so your birthday is coming up in the next month and a half or so, and our birth sign, or our birthday, is kind of like a new year for us anyway. So it might still feel like there's some endings going on in your life, Aquarius or Aquarius rising, and this is really a time to set intentions around what you want to heal over the next month until the new moon in Aquarius in your sign. Thinking about the future and your long-term goals can actually give you perspective on the present. So thinking about what you want to call in can help you heal what needs to be resolved in order for you to achieve those goals. I hope that makes sense. If you're looking for guidance, if you're looking for healing, if you are looking for closure, this is the time. This moon in your 12th house is a perfect time for closure. And if you feel like you need some support in that process, connecting to your own spirituality, connecting to a higher power of your understanding can give you really great insight and guidance to move through this new moon. And also, if you're feeling a little confused about what intentions you want to set for the year, again, you can set intentions any time of the year. You don't have to do it at New Year's unless that feels good for you. Maybe it's going to be more powerful for you to do so under the new moon in Aquarius next month. But if you're confused about anything, because the 12th house can be a little confusing, connect to that higher power, connect to your guides, whatever works for you. Whatever makes you feel closer to God or the universe is a great thing to do as a ritual under this new moon. So pay attention to what you're releasing, what you're letting go of, what's being healed, what still needs to be healed, and what areas of your life need closure so you can step more confidently into the new year. All right, those are the signs. Now let's talk about what's going on today. It's an intense day. And I know, I'm very aware that my experience and my energy is sort of infused into the forecast. And, I'm writing from my own experience in a lot of ways. Of course, there are fixed energies with the planets and the signs, but I'm experiencing these things as you experience these things. And so far, today has been a doozy. It's really been a doozy. I've said this a couple times, but the Capricorn moon makes two connections, two conjunctions, so literally meeting up at the same spot in the sky as these planets, and then the moon moves into Aquarius and makes another conjunction by the end of the night. So let's take a look at what's been going on our chart here. I'm going to back up just a couple hours because some of these connections already happened. You can see the first transit we're talking about on this Monday, January 3rd, the first week of the new year, is the moon forming a conjunction with Venus retrograde. This happened about 2 a.m. Pacific time, so you were likely feeling this right when you woke up on the East Coast, or if you're watching in another part of the world, you might have been feeling this pretty intensely to start your day. When the moon forms a conjunction with Venus retrograde, we've talked a lot about Venus retrograde, and if you want to dive more deeply into that, go back to my video on what energy to expect through the end of this month while Venus is retrograde. Normally, when we have a conjunction between the moon and Venus, we feel more affectionate, we feel more lovey-dovey, but because Venus is retrograde and because the moon is in Capricorn, which is a little bit less emotionally sensitive, I think is the best word to say, this looks like kind of an intense transit. So the moon meeting up with Venus retrograde infuses our emotions into any conflict or issues that have come up surrounding your relationships or surrounding your finances. We tend to be a little bit more practical, and we can be defensive under the Capricorn moon for sure. And with Venus retrograde, this transit could have looked like some intense conflict or even an all-out war between you and a loved one, between you and a partner, a business partner, a romantic partner. This could have, when we're talking about retrogrades, we're talking about going back, falling back into past patterns, revisiting the past, revising, reviewing, all the retrograde energies. So issues of the past might have been weighing on your heart really heavily on Monday morning. So the key here is not to let worry or negativity affect your relationships or take over your emotions. The Capricorn moon can make us worry a little bit more. Like I just mentioned, it's that limiting energy showing us all the things that could go wrong. So when that meets up with Venus retrograde in Capricorn, this could look like you really emotionally reassessing your long-term commitments. This is a quick transit and it already passed us. So if something came up this morning, or if there was a conflict that maybe erupted before work this morning or something like that, try to let it pass. Try not to let those emotions, those worries dominate the present moment. By 9 a.m. Pacific time, so just a few hours ago, and that's about noon Eastern time, the moon formed yet another conjunction, as if that wasn't enough. The moon met up with Pluto, also in Capricorn. Now, Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. So you can imagine that's another very intense transit. It's also the planet of depth, of shadows, doing that shadow work. So the moon meeting up with Pluto in the sky literally could reveal our shadows emotionally. It could look like a little bit of depression or negativity. It could look like a tower moment. If you're familiar with tarot cards, that's kind of this moment where everything could fall apart. So this can bring some really deep issues to the surface. You might be experiencing that today, some really deep emotions surfacing. And this is also playing into the energy of the new year, right? We want to be able to just turn the page on 2021 and, start anew in 2022. But we know that's not how the world actually works, unfortunately. We still definitely have some ties to the past 2 years. We're still deeply affected by everything that's played out since this pandemic started, since the beginning of 2020. We're very much aware of that 2-year mark coming up with coronavirus, with COVID. So deep issues could come up today. Just be aware of that, right? Very important. And try not to let your emotions get the best of you. Now we can use, there's a shadow and light to every transit. We can use this conjunction with Pluto today as that moment of ultimate release, right? Like just get it out, let it die so you can be reborn. But this is just a very intense emotional day for a lot of people. Give yourself grace. Again, try not to let your emotions get out of control. If issues start to surface, if those deep emotions come up, observe them, ask what they need, give yourself what you need, and this could be a chance on the brighter side of things to finally put those issues to rest. By bringing them to light, we can release them and be reborn when the moon forms this conjunction to Pluto. All right. First two really intense transits of the day, and the worst ones. We've gotten them out of the way. Things are looking up, and actually right now as I'm streaming live, it's about 1:45 Pacific time. For the next hour or so, we have a void moon. So anything that's happening right now, things should feel like a little bit calmer. Any issues that come up right in this moment shouldn't have too much of an effect. But this void moon, I feel like, is still intense because of the intense transits we had this morning. By 3 p.m. Pacific time, the moon moves into Aquarius. So we start to feel a little bit of a different energy. As I mentioned, Mercury moved into Aquarius on Saturday night. So right when the moon moves into Aquarius, it meets up with Messenger Mercury. That means our emotions are merging with our thoughts. So we might express our emotions a little bit more easily by the end of the day today. Our mood can change really quickly when the moon, ruling our emotions, is blending with Mercury, the quickest planet in the solar system. We can experience heightened intuition as well, though, because messages can come through more easily. Our emotions and our mind, our feelings and our mind are connected to each other under this conjunction. So intuitive messages could come through a little bit more easily and could come through a little bit more emotionally as well. Writing or speaking can help move those things through you. Mercury is the communicator of the zodiac. So if you have been dealing with these intense emotions all day, if you're feeling exhausted or confused or like you need that release, writing, talking it out can be really helpful under this conjunction between the moon and Mercury. Now, another note here, we talked about Venus retrograde, the moon forming a conjunction with that this morning. Mercury goes retrograde on January 14th, which means right now it's currently in its shadow period. So we're starting to feel a little bit of that Mercury retrograde energy right now. And this could start to bring some communication breakdowns, some technology issues as well over the next couple weeks. Mercury officially doesn't go retrograde until the 14th, but during its shadow period, we can start to feel its effects. And when the moon meets up with Mercury tonight in its shadow period, you could experience a little bit of emotional misunderstandings, right? If you are trying to talk it out with someone, you feel like you need to express your emotions with this conjunction, there can be misunderstandings when emotions get heightened, right? So be prepared for that. Try to give grace to whoever you're talking with. Try to give yourself grace. Come from a place of trying to find common ground, trying to find understanding. And yeah, today is just kind of a doozy. Like, there's no better way to say that. I always try to be positive, but emotions will feel more intense today. That's the short and the long of it. It's just an emotionally intense day. I don't think I've seen a day since I started forecasting astrology or since I started tracking the transits every single day, where we've had this many conjunctions back to back in a 12-hour period. So, you know, probably since the Great Conjunction at the end of 2020 was like, well, probably one of the last times we really saw a really, really intense energy with the moon like this. So yeah, it's an intense day. If you are feeling it, I'm right there with you. I hope that you move through it with ease. Again, like, go back to what I said about your sign, specifically your rising sign. If you know it, lean into that area of your life, that area of your chart. That can kind of help you move through these transits a little bit more easily. And also pay attention to where Aquarius is in your chart, right? Because we have the moon moving into Aquarius tonight, making that conjunction with Mercury. So both the Capricorn and Aquarius areas of your chart will be activated a little bit more today with these conjunctions. All right, let's do an overview, and then I'm going to pull a card. So, let me take a sip of coffee first, actually, you guys. Got it. I need a lot of coffee to get through today. But also, look at how cute this mug is that I got for Christmas. It's me and my partner and our little dogs, and it's like my favorite Christmas gift, and I'm so obsessed with it. So, of course, I had to bring it on the live stream and share it with you. Okay, so an overview. Here's what's going on. We had the new moon in Capricorn this Sunday, and the new moon in Capricorn invites us to really pay attention to the foundation we're building off of in 2022. Specifically, getting grounded, thinking long-term about our goals and the practical steps we'll need to take to get there. That's the Capricorn New Moon energy, inviting us to envision the version of ourselves we want to be by the end of the year. Sunday, the moon makes some really nice connections, helping us to dream big and envision our future. But Monday, the moon forms 3 different conjunctions. First, with Venus retrograde, which could make us feel more emotional about our relationships or our financial situation. It could bring up old wounds in those areas. Then by Monday afternoon, the moon forms a conjunction with Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, bringing those deep, dark, really intense emotions to the surface this Monday. The moon moves into Aquarius by the afternoon and then immediately forms yet another conjunction with Mercury, the planet of communication, making us able to express our emotions more easily, but taking into account all of that intense energy from earlier in the day. You want to be really aware of how you're communicating. Mercury is also in its shadow period now, so try to give other people grace and try to communicate as effectively and clearly and sympathetically as you can under that Aquarius moon when it forms a conjunction to Mercury. But writing or speaking today can really help move those emotions through you. Okay, let's pull a card now. Let's see if there are any other insights we need. We need some guidance today. I need some guidance today, you guys. It's been a rough one. I'm not sure if I think I mentioned at the top of this live stream, but we have had really rocky 24 hours in our household. One of our dogs had to have emergency surgery last night, and it's just been a lot. It's been a lot. Of course, I was like totally I wasn't blindsided by the triple conjunction today necessarily, but yesterday I was feeling very, excited and creative with this moon falling in my 5th house and like totally vision boarding and setting those long-term goals for 2022. And today just really feels like, oh my gosh, it's 2022 and already this year is super insane and intense. So hopefully all that intensity for us is getting it out of the way, right? So we don't have to deal with these things for the rest of the year. All right. What do we need to know? I'm pulling from the Queen of the Moon Oracle, and this card is the Abundance card, number 38. Love that, love that. Okay, let's find out what the guidebook has for us. Abundance. Okay. Take advantage of this time of abundance. It is all around you. Possibility and opportunity are everywhere. You are open and responsive to the abundance around you. There is enough for everyone. I am abundant and I am surrounded by opportunity. The hunter moon is the traditional moon of plenty. It was when game was at its most plentiful, so the people would not go hungry. The moon was large and bright in the sky, and in some cases deep orange, and there was a great deal of light to go hunting well into the evening. Our ancient ancestors couldn't just go off to the supermarket to buy what they needed to eat. Meat didn't come on trays wrapped in plastic. Eggs were gathered. Warm clothing was made from skins of the same animals that were hunted for meat. Nothing was wasted. This abundance was part of a cycle just like any other. It wasn't present all the time, so this time of year was to be taken advantage of while the going was good. The barrenness of winter would soon return. Hunters had to be prepared. They had to have their weapons ready and their tracking skills honed. As modern people, we're less used to these natural cycles of plenty and barrenness because most of us have stepped away from growing food in the natural environment. However, these cycles are still there, even if we're not part of them consciously. This moon normally rises in October in the northern hemisphere, and so it came before the winter snows. Okay, so what does this tell us? We're pulling a full moon, a hunter moon card under the new moon. This is telling us, it's that like hunter energy, very masculine energy. The description talked about very Capricorn for sure, being prepared, being practical, using all of your resources. But this card is reminding us that even if things feel a little bit difficult right now, or you can't fully see what's to come in 2022, abundance is coming. Abundance is coming. Think abundantly. Prepare for abundance. It is coming to you. Might take a little while, might take until fall, as this card represents, but the abundance is coming. Trust that it's coming. Get in the energy of it. Be grateful for the abundance already around you right now, and that helps you attract more of it, right? Because, as the card talked about, we're not used to these cycles of having to go hunt and gather our food. We have abundance all around us. We can go to the grocery store and physically see abundance with our own eyes. I mean, imagine if our ancestors could just walk into a store and get all the food they needed without having to really do any hard work just for the food. So, your reminder that abundance is all around you right now, and more of it is coming in 2022. I hope that this live stream gave you some clarity about whatever you're moving through in this first week of 2022. We'll be back tomorrow. We have the moon in Aquarius making several connections to talk about, not quite as intense, thank goodness. And later this week, the sun will be forming a conjunction, I believe, with Venus. So don't quote me on that. Tune in tomorrow and I will tell you exactly what's going to happen. But we do have some transits to go over this week. The most intense things that are going to happen this week, I think, have already happened today, though. So if today was hard, it's all good. You got through it. We're fine. Keep going. It's going to get easier. And I hope that you set some intentions. I hope this video helped give you some guidance and some clarity about the year ahead. Also tomorrow, I'm really excited for the next interview of the spiritual journalist. Will be streaming live at 11 a.m. Pacific time with Felicia Bender. She's a numerologist, I should say. So we're talking all about the numerology of 2022, what it means. We have 222, which is an angel number. It's a 6 year. She'll talk about what that means. And also, if you're curious about numerology in general, we'll talk about the basis of numerology and how to apply it to your life, how she got into it, how to learn more about it. I'm super curious about it, so I'm really excited for this conversation. But until then, treat space with me, and I'll see you right. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website.
But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.